As an entrepreneur, there is one tool in my stash of supplies that makes my life easier and better than anything else. This tool helps me communicate clearly. It helps me grab the attention of customers online. It helps me put my best foot forward and look great on social media and on my website. What is that tool? It's Canva. Canva is an online digital design tool that helps individuals create engaging and beautiful images through their pre-designed templates and also through their banks of fonts, images, and elements. It makes my job of posting visual content much easier, and honestly, it's a little bit addicting, but it's an addiction that comes with great results. Let's jump in and create some amazing content together. I love Canva because even without any graphic design education, I'm able to create great images. So even though you might already agree with me that Canva sounds pretty darn magical, you might be wondering why you would need it. Let me explain. Why do you and your business need Canva? People pay attention when you use graphic content. Graphic content gets 105% more engagement than content without images or visuals. And visuals lead to views. Articles get 94% more views when they have visuals than text-only content, which leads to better performance. In a 2016 study of 300 online marketers, it was reported that original graphics, like the ones created on Canva, performed the best and created the most engagement with their content. So it's not just important that you have some visuals, it's important what those visuals are. And Canva's going to be able to help you create images that are very specific to you, your business, your brand, and what you are trying to communicate. It also leads to increased memory. 65% of content that is seen visually in the form of photos and graphics is remembered for up to 3 days later, whereas only 10% of written content is remembered after 3 days. And this one blew my mind. People follow instructions 323% better if they're presented visually. If you want someone to subscribe, buy, or vote, your chances of follow through are much better if you use a visual. It also increases the content that's shared. In an analysis of over 1 million articles, BuzzSumo found that articles with an image once every 75 to 100 words received double the social media shares as articles with fewer images. This also goes for social media content that is text only versus text with a visual. So you can see, the reason for you to use visuals with your content is more persuasive than ever. So let's dig in and learn how to use Canva to make these images for you and your business. Okay, the first item I'm going to show you how to make is a blog banner. I blog every week, and so this is something I've created dozens and dozens of times. I can tell you that the more you make items, the easier it's going to be, but hopefully by watching me walk through this creation process, you're going to learn a few tips and tricks, so your learning curve will be a little bit faster than mine was. All right, here we go. So when we first get to Canva's home screen, you're going to see a variety of items on the bottom that you could create, and you could just click the arrow to scroll through and see what's there. But you could also go to this search bar and just type in exactly what you want to make, and they are going to have the sizes and proportions already ready for you to go, not to mention a lot of really great pre-designed templates. So we'll just type in blog banner. It will come up, we'll click on it, and then we'll get tons of different ideas and designs of things that have already been started. You can click on one, and then if you decide, I don't really like that one, you'll still see that there are plenty more. All of those designs are still here for you. Literally, there are hundreds. If you have something specific that you would like to have your blog banner about, like let's say that yours is about a service, or let's do a sale. It will come up with a lot of ideas already for you. I know that a lot of us who are interested in Canva are interested in social media, so I'm going to look up that and see what comes up for us. This one right away at the top jumps out at me, and so I'm going to pick that. And then they even within that single design have 10 different ideas that we could choose from. I'm going to pick this first one. Now, the really great thing about Canva is that you get to decide absolutely everything from here on out, okay? So our post is not called the positive effects of social media on teenagers. Our post is called Canva 101 with the word nerd. And I do not need this phrase at all. So I just click on it and hit delete, and it goes away. You'll notice that all of these items are kind of grouped together. If you do not want them grouped together, all you need to do is click ungroup, and then they'll all be separate and you can move them independently, and you can even decide, hey, I don't even really want that, and just delete it. Now, if I want these images or these words to be within my brand colors, or maybe I just want it to be a different color, all you need to do is click on it and then go to the top and you can pick the color that you'd like. These are my brand colors that I've preset so that anytime I create something and I want it to be on brand, I can pick the color of my choosing. I could also change the font if I were interested by clicking here, and then there'll be lots and lots of options. Now you'll notice on the side that some of the fonts have a little crown. That crown means that it is with Canva Pro, and only Canva Pro users can use that font without paying a separate extra fee. Usually it's like 99 cents, I think. So if you have the free version of Canva, you can use any of the fonts, but you just have to pay a little extra for it. I'm actually fine with this font. I'm going to leave it the way that it is. Now this is looking a little boring still, so I'm going to add in an image to spice it up a little bit. So I'll click over here on my uploads. These are things that I have already uploaded into Canva, and I'm going to click this picture. It's a picture that you see frequently on my website, and anytime I'm teaching something, it's the image that I use. I'm going to move these items over to the side so they're kind of out of the way. And that background on my image is a little busy. So what I'm going to do is click on the image, click Effects, and then Background Remover, and it's just going to take it away for me. It is magic. Again, this is a Canva Pro tool, but I seriously think it's worth the price of admission for this single tool alone, because look at how cool that is. All right, so I'll just make this bigger, put it at the bottom so it doesn't look like I'm floating out of nowhere. All right. Now, before I showed you how to ungroup something, if you want to put something back together, you click on the first item, then hold down Shift, and you can click on the second item. And then up here, there's the group button. So you can put them back together. So that way, whenever you move them, or maybe even resize them, they both get resized to the size that you want. You don't have to like do one and then do the other and go back and forth and stuff. Okay, this bottom, this is still pink. I want that to match the rest. So I'm gonna turn that to my brand color of red to match everything. Move this off to the side a little bit because there's just that teeny bit that didn't go away with the background remover, and I don't really wanna have that in there. Just keep playing around with size till we get it right. Okay, so this looks fine. I would probably play around from here out with a little bit of the with the background. It looks kind of plain, so I can click over here on backgrounds, and then I get tons and tons of options again with what I might want to do. So there are patterns. So maybe I want to have a brick wall. That'd be okay. Maybe if I'm feeling like it's a little dark, I can go up to this icon on the right-hand side, and that's the transparency. I can make it more or less transparent. Maybe I want some lined writing paper. No, that doesn't feel right. A white brick wall? I kind of like that. Again, if I go over to the transparency, let me see what I've got here. Oh, there must be a filter on here because, yeah, if I click on it, I feel like there's a filter. So we're just gonna get rid of that filter or put it to white. There we go. So we click here, then we can make that background go away a little bit, or we can have it full. I like it away a little bit because then the brown and the brick isn't really taking away from it. Okay. I'm gonna try one other thing with this image. I'm gonna go to Elements and I'm gonna type in computer, because a lot of these images that we are creating are going to go on a computer, a digital screen. So if I were to, let's try this. If I were to click, no, I don't know that that's what I like either. Never mind, we're gonna get rid of that one. Let's try this guy. So if we were to click this computer screen, okay, and put it right there in the middle, then I'm gonna click position, and I'm gonna send this backwards so that my words come up first. I'm gonna shrink these words again so that they fit right here in the middle of the computer screen. I'm gonna click on this image. Some of the elements you're able to change the color. So again, I want this to match everything else. So instead of purple, I'm gonna choose black and see what that looks like. Instead of blue, I might choose a little bit of gray. Let me try, what would gray look like here? No, black, this gray, something a little lighter. Yeah, okay. All right, so there we have the image. The last thing I always do when I'm creating a blog banner image is I put my website on it so that when I put this graphic other places, when it's not on my website, people will know where it is and how to find me. So I will go over here and add text. You can just choose to add a basic text, or you can pick out one of these pre-styled fancy fonts. We'll probably do that when we do the social media post, but for right now, I'm just gonna choose this tiny one right here. I'm gonna move it to the bottom. There'll be these little red lines that pop up that help you know when it's in the center of the graphic. Double click on it, add in my website, click off to see how that looks. I'm gonna lower it a little bit. And then I'm gonna put it in bold, and so it's a little bit easier to read. And I'm also gonna match it with the font that I already have. You only ever wanna have 2 fonts on a particular image, because otherwise it gets too busy. So this font right here is a Leo. So when I click on here, I'm gonna make that a Leo also. It'll tell you the ones, if you go to the top, it'll tell you the ones that are already being used in this template. So I can click on that, and then it will just match everything else that's already on there. One last thing I think I might do is I'm gonna go to Elements, and I'm gonna type in Canva. Sometimes they'll have graphics in here, like very basic trademarked, type items, like Apple Computer or Nike or whatever. And then you can find a graphic to put on there as well. So this is Canva's logo. So if I say Canva 101 with the word nerd, and I put their logo up there on the top, I feel like, again, see those pink lines let you know that everything's lined up nicely and centered beautifully. And there we go, Canva 101 with the word nerd. When I want to download this item, I'm going to click the download button, and then it gives you all sorts of options for you to be able to, what kind of a file you want to download this in. So I almost always choose a PNG file, unless I'm making a YouTube cover and then they require a JPEG. But I almost always use a PNG file because it's the highest quality image, and then I'll click download. I noticed though here I did not change the file name up here, and so it's going to be difficult for me to find if I don't rename it to what I want it to be named as. So again, I will put that name in there, click download, PNG, download, and then that's going to just go right into my downloads folder. And we have, voila, created our first image. One last thing I want to show you with this portion of Canva before we move on is another feature of Canva Pro, and that is the magic Resize button. I said before that the background remover is my favorite Canva Pro tool, but this one also saves me tons of time. So it's probably my most practical favorite reason. So when I upload images to my blog, there's the blog banner, but then there's also the excerpt size, and it needs to be a thumbnail. And if I put this blog banner size in that thumbnail, it's distorted. It does not look great. I need a square image. And so if I click this Resize button and I click logo, that's a 500 by 500 pixel, a square, I hit copy and resize, and then Canva does the magic, and they take my blog banner and they make it square. Now, as you can see, it's not perfect, but it has kept everything pretty proportional, and it lets me just do a couple of things. So with my thumbnail, I try to keep those simpler. So I'm going to get rid of myself. I'm actually going to get rid of this banner. I'm going to put all of these, I'm going to click ungroup here because then I can just re-click everything, again, holding down the shift key, and then I'll hit group. And that way, when I resize this singular image, I get to do it all at once instead of having to mess around with it individually. I'll drag it until I get it to that very center spot. I will put my website in there, and then again, I'll just click download. I'm going to rename this to Canva 101 thumbnail, again, so that when I'm trying to find it later on, I know exactly what it is. I download as a PNG, and then we're done. The second type of image we're going to make on Canva today is a Facebook post. Facebook is the platform where I'm able to engage most often with my readers online, so I always feel like a Canva post is super productive because it lets me do this in a way that is beautiful. When you are on the Canva homepage, you can either click right down here on the bar if you see Facebook post, or you can type it in the search item right here, and it will come up. A lot of times it will offer you lots of other Facebook sizes as well, a post, an event cover. That's something I really struggled with making the right size before I had Canva. An ad, a cover photo, a story, a video, but the one that we're going to do today is a post. All right, fall is coming up, and so there's lots of fun fall templates. So I'm going to choose this one to use. If once I get into the creation of this image, I want to switch to a different item or a different template, I just click on this top bar over here, templates, and I can see all of the different ones they have. They do have them categorized in a different variety of ways, but if there's something specific you're looking for, like let's say I really wanted to do a template around a list or a book, they would have some ideas for me that would come up right away, and I could just click on one of those if I found what I liked. But I really do like this one, so I'm going to work with it. One thing that I have coming up soon is that Close Quarters is going to get a sequel, my book Close Quarters. So I'm going to say Close Quarters number 2 is coming. I'm going to say, are you ready? All right. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a picture of Close Quarters, the book cover #1 on here. So I'll go to my uploads, and all I need to do is click upload an image or video. You can get them from these variety of different places. I'm going to click device. I'm going to go to documents, my writing, Close Quarters. And then I'll be able to see the book cover there. And then that will just pop right in here. I can either drag and drop this image into a place where there's already a photo, or I can just click on it and it will pop up. I'm going to get rid of this background photo. I don't like the way that it is there. If you have the image selected, there's 2 arrows at the bottom, so you can kind of tip it a little bit to make the image look a little bit more interesting. And now that I have my own image in here, one of my favorite features of Canva is they will match the colors for the rest of this based on this new image I've put in here. So if I click on this text and I would like it to be a color that matches this text, I click on the text color above and you'll see that they have magically pulled the colors from my picture right into this image. So I can choose one of those. The same thing can happen for this background cover right here. That looks a little bit too similar. So I can do that. All right. What else do I want to do here? Are you ready? Close Quarters #2 is coming. Maybe I'm going to ask a question. Who was your favorite cousin from, I'll say character. Who is your favorite character from book #1? It's a little bit small, so I'm going to make that text bigger. I just click on the number. And there we go. Now let's say I wanted to add a little bit more. I still feel like it's looking plain around the outside. Maybe I wanted to add a book. So if I go over to Elements, and I type in a book, then a whole bunch of different images pop up and I can choose one to use. I kind of like this one because it's the open book. I can just put that right there at the bottom. Again, I'd love for this image to match the other one that I have in here. So I'm going to click on the color and I'm going to pick one of the colors that gets pulled up. I might adjust this corner image color too. What do we think? Do we like that color? Or do we like the darker one? Maybe the darker one does look good. We'll go back to that one. I also kind of like how this one is all set up in a row over here. So I want to move these ones to do the same thing. But then my words get covered up, so what I can do is I can click position and click backward until it goes back to where I want it. I can slide it back so that it's lined up in the same way and move this guy over here. Again, this one, oh, it's looking like it's covering things up, so I'll click position, click backward. Oh, needs to go forward a little bit more to match the others. So there we go. And there. All right, I think the last thing I'm going to add on here is the release date. So I'll go over to text. And I can choose any of these texts. Some of these are really fun. I love these ones that have kind of the neon look to them. So I'm going to choose this one. So large, way too big. Gonna shrink that by clicking on the size over here. And then dragging it up. I'm also gonna ungroup these because I just want this top one. And this love part, we don't need that. We're gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna straighten it out again by using this tool to tip it. I'm also going to make these stretch out a little bit. I feel like those letters are too close together. So I'll click here on the up and down arrow and I can make my letters stretch out just a little bit. You can also make them taller with this. Okay, then we just got to change the color of that. What do we think? Yes, this. All right, and so there is our Facebook post. Are you ready? Close quarters number 2 is coming. To download this, we will change the file name to Release Announcement, Close Quarters 2. And then we will click the download button. I like to keep it as a PNG, but there are many other ways or file types you can choose. And then we'll click download. And then you can take that image and upload it to Facebook. And there is our second image. We've so far created a blog banner and a Facebook image. And now the last thing we're going to create today is a worksheet. One of my favorite discoveries on Canva was when I figured out that they have worksheets. This is a huge time saver for teachers and also for people like me who create digital download products for others to educate themselves. So let's head over to Canva and see what they have for us. Again, once you are on the Canva homepage, click in the search box for worksheet. And you're just going to be blown away when you see the number of templates that they have for you to choose from. If you're an educator, you can probably just pick a couple of these, especially if you're an elementary school educator, just to print right off and make a packet of fast finisher work or some extra things for your students to do at home during distance learning. But what I'm going to show you how to do today is to take a template that they have already created and modify it for your needs. We're going to choose this one that's called Art Critique, and we're going to change it to be a peer critique for a writing sheet. So the first thing I'll do is just change this title right here, Peer Critique. I'm going to change the directions a little bit. Read a piece of work from your peer and share your thoughts on it here. Okay, now this was a art worksheet and we are changing it to a writing worksheet. So I'm going to get rid of these images around the sides. And I'm going to look for some writing ones. So I will go to Elements and type in writing and we'll see what pops up. I kind of like this one. Shrink it down a little bit. I'm going to bring it over to the side, kind of tip it the way the ones from the original template were looking. I'm going to send to back so we just see the edge of it. I don't know that these dots really work well there. Maybe we just pull them down here. Let's see what else we have for writing. Here's just another pencil that kind of matches that same image. I kind of like it when they flip out so that the edge of the image is more towards the side of the paper. So I'm going to just flip this one horizontally and bring it over here. And again, I'm going to shrink it and put it right there. I think I like that. Okay, maybe this one needs to come forward. Let's see. Yeah, I think I like that. Okay, then we'll go in the instructions. We can change this to say, find your favorite sentence from the piece and write it in the box above, then answer the questions below. You can see that this doesn't, the spacing on this doesn't look great. So when I click on the box, I'll just tug the edges to the side. These pink lines pop up that show us when it's lined up appropriately and looking good. Again, if I wanted to change this font, I could click over here and look around. I could also change the size by clicking on the number and the color by clicking here. I could also make it bold if I wanted it to stand out a little bit more, but I don't think I do. Then we go down to the questions and we can change the text for each of these. One thing I do notice right here, even on the template, is that they have 3 lines, 3 lines, 3 lines. Here they only have 2, so I'm not really sure what happened there. I'm going to click on that and delete it, and then I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to hit Control-C, Control-V, and it will copy, and then I'll be able to have everything looking uniform all the way through. All right, if I had wanted a fun kind of background on this paper, I could click over here and browse the different choices. You know, I could choose something like lined notebook paper, but for the most part, on worksheets, you're going to want a plain blank background for ease of printing, and so you don't use a ton of ink. Again, our last step is to save it. So we'll save this as peer critique. And with something that you're going to print, I would recommend choosing PDF print as your download option. So then we'll just click download and it will be done. And that's it. Really, it's not. There are many more things you can do with Canva, but hopefully this information will get you started on the right foot. If you have any questions or topics you'd like to learn more about in relation to Canva, email me or put them in the comments below. I'll be sure to follow up. If you're ready to jump in and get started for yourself, just click the links below. Full disclosure, I am a Canva affiliate and I will make a small commission on your use of this program at no extra cost to you, but even if I didn't benefit in any way, I would still sing Canva's praises and use it every day. Rest assured, I will never recommend anything I don't 100% believe in. All right, enough talking. Time to start creating with Canva. Good luck.